Alright, so I have just realized I was not recording for a good hour there. But for those of you watching on YouTube, you can see I have made some obvious changes to the model's textures and whatnot. And as I am recording this, I was just saying that all of the textures on this are basically done. So my deepest apologies for that, but it was a little bit more of the same of what I was showing last time. So hopefully you don't feel too left out in that regard, but I am calling everything that you see here basically done, just for flair. Let's see how it looks in rendered mode with somewhat realistic shadows and all the emission and all that good shit. And I am liking that. So, won't need to be looking at textures for a little bit here, because I am going to get into rigging. Now, this is probably in the sense that this is like me showing you how I work. I don't normally make robots like this, but since I don't have anything super complicated with like pistons and stuff going on here, I have a bit of an easier time with the rigging process, since everything is either affected by a bone or not affected by a bone. And I don't have to use weight painting at all, which for something like that model of Artemis I showed, you do have to get into that territory, and that can get dicey, and I'm still like learning the best way to do that. But anyway, what I am doing right now is enabling things in the viewport that make things easier for me. So the bones are just sticks. They have their names visible so I can know that something is named correctly or incorrectly. Now we go into edit mode, make this bigger, since this will be the one that affects everything else. Duplicate, bring it up, and I forgot to check in front so you can always see them. I want this to be the center of mass for the whole thing, so I think I'm going to put it right around there, make this part taller, and I'm going to rename that to body. Then duplicate it again and bring it up to right around here, bring that down, rename that one to head, then have this one selected, select this one, Control P, keep offset, and now they're connected, and then I will do the same thing with this one, Control P, keep offset, go up here to go to pose mode, and check that they are connected the way I expect them to. Now, let's do the cameras first. Those should be a little easier. So, since this is already going to have this connection to the body, I will duplicate that, and it will maintain that connection. I'm going to turn on snap to grid for just a second, so that makes sure that's facing the right way. Camera, and I will add qualifier to that. I don't know why I hit that button. Now, this might be a tiny bit difficult, since, yeah, the cursor is not going to place this exactly in the center of the sphere, because I don't want to take the mirror modifier off. Oh, I had all of them selected. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Do that. Okay. Now I should be able to zoom in a little more. Come on. With the snap to grid enabled, I should be able to get this pretty dead center. That's... What if if I do it like this? Now it should be dead center. Yes, it is. That's what I'm looking for. Now, keeping the, oh. Now it's dead center. Just a second. Okay, that wasn't important. Okay, now with, type that the global, it's on 3D cursor, Shift D, R, and I don't have to hit Z because I'm looking from directly above 90 degrees. Then take both of these, Shift D, R, 180. Now I will name this camera front, camera left, and camera back, and camera, oh, nope, camera right. And I just realized I'm probably going to have to apply the mirror modifiers to this so I'll be able to assign these bones correctly, but we will see. Okay, and then the only other bones I'm going to need are going to be for the arms, which should be a little easier than those cameras were, because I should, keyword being should, be able to get this centered on where this hinge will be. Actually, I should do it like this, then it'll actually be centered to where I want it to be. Oh, I didn't do that right. Hold on. Now do that. That's where I want my new bone to be. So, back to the armature, edit. Shift D to duplicate, Shift S, selection to cursor, Shift S, selection to cursor, and yes, snap to grid is on. Actually, median, turn that off. -45. Now it's facing the right way. Actually, cursor, pull you up. Now, Alt R. There we go. Okay. And then I need to make one more for this hinge here, which should be basically the same process. So, have that all set. Keep offset. Oh, I forgot to duplicate it. Now it should. There we go. Make that one a little bigger. Okay, leg. Make this front dot 1.L. I don't have a super strict method when it comes to naming bones, especially if it's for a robot like this. If it were a more humanoid thing, I would try to name bones based on the body part. So like forearm, bicep, thigh, calf, foot, toe, that sort of thing. Okay. Set this back to 3D cursor. Okay, duplicate, rotate, 90. Select these again, Shift D, rotate 180. And those should all be basically perfectly aligned. Oh, I just realized I forgot to do one thing before duplicating everything. Make sure this is connected to this. That's better. Now, I should do, now I can go back to the duplicating. 90, shit. Enter, should supposed to apply it. And then save. Now these will be back, if I could spell it correctly. Back. Name that one as well. Back. And then this one will be R instead of L. Same thing with this one. And then make these back R and back. You know what I mean. Man, I cannot type for shit today. That should be all of the bones that I really need, though, because that's the only parts that on this model that move. So let me make sure these are all assigned properly. They should all be oriented properly, too, so... Alright. I am ready to start applying this. We'll see how this works with the various mirror modifiers I am using. But we'll start with the body, select the armature, Control P, and if this was a humanoid character, I would do automatic weights. For this, I'm going to do empty groups. So now when I go to the mesh in edit mode, and go to here, I will see that every bone I create has a vertex group that I can assign in here. Now, the only one that should need to be assigned to any of these is going to be the body one. So do that, and that's pretty straightforward. Do the same thing with the head. Empty groups, mesh, select everything, apply the head. Now let's see how it works with the mirror modifier on the legs. No, we'll do the cameras first. Control P, empty groups. Now let's see if this works. And then... if this doesn't work, I will have to take the mirror modifier and enable it. This isn't going to work. Wait. It seems to have... nope, it's not working. Okay, I am going to do this. Remove from all groups. And that should mean that none of these, yep, are connected. So... I am going to actually do something quick here. Save as, and I'm going to save a backup of this where the mirror modifier is still applied in case I need to go back to it. Back up. Save as backup, and then I'm going to go to my non-backup one very quick here. And I'm going to have to turn the screencast keys back on. Now I will apply the mirror modifier. Now each of these is a completely separate mesh, so now this should work as intended. Left, back, and I might have to do this with the arms as well, but the mirror modifier is still applied in the backup file, so I will not need to make a separate backup for that. Let me try that again. I am going to actually turn X mirror on in my armature so that when one thing moves on one side, it moves on the other. And that is working, but it seems I need to fix the orientation axis of these two. Now, how about... now they're facing the same direction. I think that should hold true for these as well. Yes, okay. Now let's see if I can do the legs without needing to apply the mirror modifier. Empty groups. This whole section and these will be... I'm just gonna apply it to this one first and then see what that does. Is it working? The orientation is completely wrong, but it does not seem like it is working. Mirror modifier seems like it only really plays nice if it's just mirroring on the x-axis, not the y-axis, which is great for modeling, again, humanoid characters, because you'll have things going from one side to the other without much issue, but since this is going in the x and the y-axis, this is why I need to do it in a way that I don't normally do it. But now I gotta do this again, but do it the long way. So get that one. Front L, and then get, oops, the rest of it. That should be, yes. Yeah, I'm not missing anything. Make that one front 2. And now the next one in line is the right one, so get all this. Do that. That, and then that. Now let me quick check and make sure that that is working correctly, and I did miss one part of that one, but that is okay. Seems to be working correctly. Just get that, put that on there. That's back. 1R is next, so this one, this one, this one, and this one, back R, that one, and that one, back R2. Then the last one should be this one, back L1. I did miss part of that, I think, but I will take care of that in a second. Didn't get these on this one. Now let me make sure. Okay, that should be... Let me just quick grab the body's bone and move everything. And I didn't apply it to the smokestacks or the eyes, but I did get everything else the way I wanted to. I did. Okay, so let me just quick get these. I will just do these both at the same time. Empty groups. These will be applied to just the body. These will be... Oh, come on. Come on. These will be applied to just the head. Let me save that quick. Now if I get this one, everything should move along with it. Same thing with the root bone, moves the whole body. So the only thing left to fix is the orientation on the legs, which hopefully just doing this should fix it. Alt-R. That did not fix it. 45 degrees. Okay, now they should all be... No. They're still not oriented properly. But it... Okay, that's weird. Oh, local. Now they're all moving. I need to go quick back in and deselect these and do that one more time to these. Shit. Negative 45. No, negative 45. There we go. Now they should all work as I want them to, and they do. I might actually, because these are just hinges, I'm gonna do this quick. Gonna lock rotation for everything except the x-axis. And I think I'm gonna need to bulk do this on each of these individually, but it should mean that... Oh, and I should lock the positions as well so they can't move because they shouldn't need to. I could always turn this off at any time, but for general purpose, like usage of the model, it's nice to be able to just only rotate it if you only want it to rotate, you know? But after this, I think the model is going to be officially done. I will, just as a send-off to this series of streams, I will, excuse me, I will, work on a quick render of this model and, finish that off stream, because I do not think rendering while streaming will be a good idea, but, yeah. Okay, that should be all of them, so let me make sure that that worked as I intended it to. And I'll probably do the more nitty-gritty, boring stuff off stream. But if I do G, they will only rotate on the x-axis instead of moving. That's pretty nice. Alright, the model is basically done. Just need to... again, do some stuff off camera. I might even add a couple more bones to, like, maybe the cameras in the eyes, or maybe the smokestacks if I'm feeling random. But yeah, the model, and let me hide the rig and show the materials one more time. The model is basically done, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So I'm going to take a break for just a second here, and when I get back I will make a... I'll start making a render for this, and like I said, render it off stream. But yeah, I will be back in just a second. Okay, I am back, and let us make a render with this. So I've had an idea in mind for a little bit of what a render I want to do with this model, but I also just remembered that. Let me bring this back in. Actually, save this quick. I should actually bring in my Sonic model just to make sure this is in proper scale with him before I commit to a render. Open. Where's my Sonic model? I need to sort this just a tiny bit better, if I'm being honest. Which I'm pretty sure, yeah, you guys can't see this because it's only capturing the window I made with Zeta, but paste him in there, and he is actually in scale, so I don't have to change that. So I will now save this in my renders folder and not in my models folder, so changes made here will only be in this separate file. I need to think of a name. Okay, now we have a separate file. I'm gonna pick out a way that I want this like scene to be. So first of all, I'm gonna move. You know what? Actually, Sonic is gonna stay there. I am gonna move Zeta back first. Move him over here. Yeah. So I have an idea where it's like a wide angle shot. Probably gonna have good old Zeta boy here flying, so I'll need to raise his legs. Okay, that is gonna be annoying, so can't do it like that. But I should be able to do this. And then do the same thing for the back too, but in a different direction. And then for each of these, I should be able to bring each of them down at the same time. No. Okay. Those are also having that problem, but that is okay. Bring these down like this. Okay, that's not going to work. Here, let me rethink how I'm going to do this. No. RX negative 30 degrees, point them down. Negative 30 degrees. RX negative 30 points it up. I need to fix the rotation axes on these for sure, so that everything will move all at once, whether the way I'm trying to do it, but evidently failing. There we go. Now it's like in a flight mode. Now I'm going to think about how to frame this. I think I will have the head rotated some, and then have the body tilted like this. Maybe rotate that some. Have it like that. And now I will get myself a camera. Control Alt Numpad 0. And now the camera is oriented to where I was just looking, so it's pretty close to how I wanted it to be. I am going to set my render resolution for this so that it'll be a nice kind of cinematic, like wide shot that I like to render so much. Now I'm going to go down to here for the camera settings. I don't know what the hell that word is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it right now, but if I bring it up all the way, you can only see what's in the camera's view, whereas if I take it off, you can still see everything. So I'm going to have that like that. And then in composition guides, I'm going to have my rule of thirds guide on to try and give me a sense of how I want this to be framed. And now I go back into here like so. And maybe have one or two of these legs oriented somewhat differently. Maybe rotate the body. Okay. Let me go back to my camera quick and maybe have the diagonals enabled. Like here is a key time to make sure your framing and the composition of the scene is just right. Now take Sonic, grab his root bone and bring him up and in front so I should be able to see him. And let's bring him closer to the camera so you can see him a little better. Have him facing Zeta here. And I will now take a look at this. I think this is going pretty good. Let me go to rendered mode quick. Yeah, alright. Okay, I think this is gonna work. Go to here quick so we can see it at full bright. I am going to use a add-on that I like to use for creating backgrounds and things for characters to stand on. It's the landscape add-on, which I believe is a free add-on. You can just Google Blender landscape add-on to find it. I need to find something that'll be like a good scene for Zeta to be floating in, and maybe I'll go with this this canyon and just use the default setting that way. Let me make it much bigger and let's orient it in a way that makes sense. Oops, I am not doing that right. Maybe like that? I'm just trying to work with this landscape I have created using the add-on until it's where I want it to be, and I think that's how I want it to look. That'll work. And I might use that add-on again to add mountains to the background, but I'm going to do this quick before I forget so that when I apply a texture to it later, it'll already map onto it. Please don't crash. Alright. When models get this big, I think it does tend to create memory issues with Blender. But I'm going to now get Sonic into some sort of pose here. Have him, I guess, looking up in awe at this, at Zeta. Okay, don't want him to do that. Spread him out. I keep forgetting to do this. That there's a hole in the mesh that I accidentally left when I was modeling it, and I keep forgetting to patch that back up, but now that should be gone. Now let's work on this stance some. Maybe bring him actually onto the terrain. Make sure that still lines up. I'll have to move my camera some. That'll work. Let me think here. Maybe bring that up so you can... Or maybe I should actually pull the whole camera up so that Zeta is more in view. And yeah, that'll work. Maybe go back here. Make sure his feet aren't just sinking into the stone that he is standing on. I also need to fix this at some point, but I'm just gonna, since he's gonna be wearing his shoes in this scene, I am just going to get rid of the geometry for his feet so we don't have any clipping. Again, really should just go back into this like base file and fix that issue, but I want to get this done at this time. Maybe not have this one be a fist, have this one be like a spread like this, but have the fingers bent some, and spread the fingers out. Okay, this is going to need a bit more tweaking. Maybe actually have them like that, yeah. The issues that I have a lot of the time when it comes to hands on any of my characters is that I'm still like struggling with the fact that I don't know how to super accurately model and obviously rig hands, so it's a bit of a struggle for me in that regard. I do need to like actually work on how to model fingers and shit instead of just going for the like until it works mindset that I've been doing for so long. You know what? I think this hand is just going to be a fist as well. The open hand idea is not going to work. And yeah, just a lot of this is just like try things, see if they work. If they don't, try something else. So it's not like something I can keep like explaining like I really have been for a lot of this. So I apologize for going silent every now and again, but it's because I'm thinking, yeah. Okay, maybe I do need to have that hand be open. Or maybe at least like not fully closed. Let me try that one more time. That might work better, yeah. Okay, and let me straighten his tail. Hide that, and hide Zeta. I think he needs to be leaning into this more, like he just ran up to this like cliffside. arch his back upward, bring his arm out more. Maybe bring this leg farther up. This one farther back. And I'm just doing this to sort of hide some of the, again, seams that I inevitably end up creating with my amateurish rigging skills. And I think that'll be good enough, since I will have... I think Sonic will be, like, not in focus fully in this final render, since the main point is going to be Zeta in the background. I'll have the focal point not be on Sonic, so hopefully most of this won't be super noticeable. But I need to go back to the shader editor, and I'm going to need to give our ground a texture, and I have a couple of free-to-use ones I downloaded from cc0.com, which I really only use for stuff like this. I don't really use it for character modeling much anymore, for reasons that I think I've already explained, but I kind of want this to be in sort of like a deserty looking place, something kind of like that maybe, but I'm going to have to try that again. And again, I'm using Control-Shift-T, which is going to bring up my file browser, which unfortunately you guys can't see due to the way it works, but I am browsing through my stash of textures to find one to use for this one, and it'll automatically put them into the principled BSDF so that they will display and render the way that they should. Just saves on a bunch of steps and streamlines the whole process. I love using the node wrangler for this sort of thing. I think that nah, I'm gonna get maybe a rocky texture instead of a sandy texture might be better. Actually, what if I try this dirt one? No, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna go for a rock-like texture. No. Yeah, I might need to go to that website and find something to use. Let me try this one. And of course, if it's not a color that I like, I can manipulate that, so I might actually try doing that here. Let me see if I can use a hue and saturation to give this a different shade. I kind of want it to be red if I can. It's not the most red, and I can't go any higher than... oh, I can't go higher. That's the vibe I'm going for. I think maybe it's because I'm thinking about Red Mountain, but I kind of wanted it to have this, like, almost Grand Canyon look. So I'm gonna have it be red like that. And like I said before, I want to maybe put a mountain or two in the background. So let's go back to landscape. Let me zoom in on that. And it's still on canyon. Let me try mountain 1 or mountain 2. Let's do mountain 1. Okay, scale that one up as well. And then I will put this one over here. I might actually firstly unwrap it, give that a second to process, and I'm going to make it taller to like exaggerate it, and I'm going to make it smaller so it appears further away than it is. I'm going to duplicate it and then make that one actually shorter and smaller. No, make it a little bigger. And now we have those back there. And since they are the same mesh, this texture will apply to both of them. I'm going to give them, I think, the same rock texture, just without the hue modifier. Have them be like duller, and then up the texture scale so that looks a little better. I think that'll work. Now to go to rendered mode, and I am going to pick go to my world settings in the shader, let that load in. I'm going to re-enable the lovely sky texture, and I'm going to start actually making changes to this, bring that all the way back up. I'm going to have this be not as high in the sky, put that at 50, maybe have this more, maybe try it behind everything. No, let me try to this side. No, what about this way? That could work. Now the sun is, at its default, very intense, but the way to fix that is to go to your color management here in the render properties. And I'm going to turn down the exposure like you would on a real camera, and that's a bit more like what I was looking for. I'm going to take the, no, maybe take the dust out so the sky is blue. Just a second. Okay, that's not important. If I turn the air off, the sky goes black, but if I bring it up, it turns yellow. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what these sliders do because I'm still trying to get a feel for the best way to make decent looking skies, but I think that'll suffice. And that's basically the only real light that I think the scene needs. I'm actually thinking, save this first, put this in material preview. I might actually want to change Zeta's pose here some. I might want to bring this leg here up more. Maybe bring this one down some. And this one. And this one. So it almost looks like it's going to step on him, even though my original idea here was to have it look like it's like flying. But let's take another look at the pre-render here. And that's looking pretty nice. So another thing I'm going to do is take in a asset that I made using a tutorial by CG Matter on how to make clouds that I have been using on a couple of my previous renders. I'm going to quick grab this from a different blend file, and give me just a second. There we go. Our cloud is here, and I'm going to use this to add some mist to the like bottom of this canyon. Bring that up a little more. Now if I go into rendered mode, we should have, why are you not showing up? There it is. Maybe make that bigger. I will turn the intensity on this down in a bit, but I want to have it like this so I can see it. What if I, yeah, do that, and then do that, no, like that. Okay. And like I said, gonna change that. So, back to shading. Go to the rendered mode, because you can't see this shader unless you're in the rendered mode. It's just the nature of how it works. Gonna make this, no, that's the wrong one. That is the wrong one. Make this reddish. Maybe a little more orange to match the like red rock we have everywhere. Now I'm going to take the intensity on this and bring it down even more, since this is a puff, not like a whole cloud. And I think I need to go over here to my noise texture. Make it like that. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. So I'll go back to material mode and save. And I am gonna duplicate this and put another one over here to try and fill out the background a little bit. Let's go to rendered mode again. And maybe bring that up some. There we go. Now you can see it. Just to make it seem like this dust cloud is bigger than it is, and I'm realizing I'm going to need to put another one over here. Maybe make this one wider. Let's check that in rendered again. Okay, that's need to move that one even more because you can't see it still. There we go. Alright. Just a couple more touches, and I will again, render this off stream. I don't want to take that chance at this time. So the last two things we're going to need to do is I'm going to go to material mode, go to my settings up here, and go to the mist pass. Now I will go to my, need to be in my, what is this? The view layer properties. I'm going to enable mist, so I will actually be able to use this in my render. But now I can affect these sliders. So I will make this deeper so we can actually see everything I want, and this will help me later. I'm going to add something that'll hopefully make this scene look much larger than it probably does at the moment. Now I will go back to my combined. We cannot see that anymore. And the very last thing I'm going to do is go to my camera, enable depth of field, turn that down. Now I'm going to go to where I want the focus to be and drag this until Zeta's eyes are in focus. Need to really... I'm going to save this first. Dial this in. Come on. Okay, I can't zoom in any more than that. And then turn this up slightly. Now, Sonic and the mountains in the background should be less in focus. We'll see how this looks. And I think this really sells his like size, because it like makes it appear like you need to really adjust your focal length on your on like a camera if you were like taking a picture of this scene. But yeah, I think that is all I'm going to do on stream. I guess I could briefly go over what I will be doing once this render is finished. Use nodes.
Yes.
So this will be the main thing that the render will go into. When I will be working, there'll be one of these, which will let me see my final render, but there's no point in plugging that in because there's no render. The basic things I do to my scenes will be to add, let's see, filter, glare. I'll have one of these set to high and fog glow, which will make things... It's hard. I find it really hard to like describe what this means, but it'll take bright areas in the render and add a haze around them, which I just like the way that looks. And then there will be a second one of these that will be on streaks instead, and that adds again, to really like bright parts in your scene, it adds streaks, like little X streaks that resemble the way I think photographs would look. Then after that, there'll be a bokeh blur or bokeh blur, where the mist might come in to add further blur to it to further the realistic look. Oh, actually, before any of these, I probably would add a mix color using the mist and then one of these to add like fake fog to the scene to make it just a little bit like mistier. Then the glares, then the bokeh blur. Then I would go and add a lens distortion, which just furthers that look of like this was taken with a camera. File these into where I want them. And then after that, it would be different mix nodes, so I can add a vignette to the scene because I like to do that, and then another one to add my watermark. Maybe at the beginning of my next Blender stream, if I hopefully remember to, I can bring this file back up and show you guys what my final render like touch-ups look like. But this should hopefully be uploaded to Twitter tonight, the day that I'm streaming this. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for the stream. And to everybody who's watching this on YouTube, I am again very sorry I forgot to hit record. I hopefully covered everything in that first hour of streaming that you people had missed, but like I said, it's a bunch of stuff that I was already discussing in my last video, so there will always be other streams where I can cover those topics again to hopefully actually be able to show them in the recording. But yeah, so that's going to be it for today's stream, so I'll probably just end it here because I have been going for 2 hours. Thank you to Kensako for joining me once again.
Woo!
Thank you to everybody who is in my stream today. Thank you to Boomy Udara for hitting me up with a follow. Much appreciated. Like I said on Twitter, this is going to be my last stream for a few weeks as I'm trying to sort out some like personal life stuff. I'm still trying to figure out when the best times for me will be to stream. So my next stream is definitely going to be announced. And hopefully I can get an actual schedule going forward. But I think next time I do end up streaming, I'll be playing more Sonic Adventure and not modeling, unless people want to see more modeling in Blender work in the future. But yeah, thank you all again for being here, and I hope you have a great day.